Game 5, Silver Scrapes, live, and we get a run back of the Xayah Rakan, but this time we've got Nautilus, new champion in the matchup, and we get Xin Zhao. Wow, playing for the early game here with Varus and Xin Zhao and Jace. If KT Rolster is not able to get an early lead here, they're going to be in big trouble. But that being said, Talia is one of the best champions in the game at forcing fights, right? You can wall off the enemy team and then make it so that Xin Zhao, Nautilus can all jump in, Jace can jump in and get the full amount of their damage from these fights. So it'll be interesting if they go for it. Gragas, one of the best disengagers in the game, as well as Xayah and Rakan and Gnar. And Gnar can even take your wall and turn it against you. So I'm looking for this game to be changed by a Gnar ult into a Talia wall. We'll see if they get it. It looks like Gnar caught a peek of them rotating over, and maybe they've caught Zeus over here. He ends up leveling the E and jumping over the wall to safety. Love to see some amount of adaptation from these level 1 strategies, right? You should have a decent split of maybe 60% your favorite thing to do, 30% your next, and then 10%'s got to be something that they don't see coming, right? And in this case, they go for that invade in the top lane. They won't be able to get too much off of it because he's more than happy to have his E at level 1. That's fine. It's not as good as the other two, but it will stop Jace from being able to swap forms and dunk the hammer on him. So now we've got the big team fight team, Gnar ultimate, Wukong ultimate, Gragas. Literally all 5 ultimates on that team are area of effect. Jace doesn't even have an ultimate. Talia is just make a wall. So when we get into these big team fights, you better believe that this is KT is looking for skirmish on the side. They want 1v1s, 2v2s, and they want a dominant early situation. But I have to hand the draft advantage over to T1 for putting this together. These AoE fights are exceptionally strong, especially against Talia, who's trying to force the fight. Faker taking a little bit of a bad trade here, gets out-leveled by BDD there at level 1 and is able to throw the rock field down and get the full version of the Q, throwing stones into Faker's face. And totally one-sided trades here. Now, bottom lane, Varus Nautilus. Nautilus just a half step down from Leona as far as pairings with Varus. Can still be very aggressive. They've got that new Fright Knight skin, which is, I don't know, it's just another level. It looks like Diablo in the bot lane. So Faker, let's see on the Gragas, trying to sustain up early, using your health as a way to get back mana. He's going to use the maximum out of this Doran's Ring, expertly getting these CS, and maybe even trying to block BDD off of those backline minions, using his body as a way to block the Q, as only Gragas can do. So now Xin Zhao going to match up against Wukong, who has went red to top, back to bottom to go for the crab here. Does not want to get in fight with Xin Zhao. So moving around, able to come here with a level 3 clear that is able to get to this thing, to the scuttle. Nautilus is hovering to look at it, but Varus is under turret. So there's a little bit of disjoint here from KT. They're not going to get any amount of protection, and Varus is going to be losing some amount of CS to the push here. Xayah, as we talked about the rock, paper, scissors about who might go call in these games and whether or not Doran's Blade will be the answer or versus Longsword and Refillable. And check that out. We get Doran's Blade from Xayah and Longsword Refillable from Varus. So both of them looking to go and try to punish this spot. Be like, oh, you want to go cull? Fine, I will one-up you. Doran's Blade for the straight-up combat stats. Refillable for the ability to trade, go back to base, push, come back, rinse, repeat. Oh, Keen able to hit that on the edge, and he gets the shot. Flash auto. I should say auto flash. Keen gets the solo bolo against Zeus, flipping the script of what has been all game. Zeus has been showing off. But between the last couple games, Keen's just been feeling it. Just doing very, very well for himself. Gets this wave in. Gnar has to use teleport to hold the wave to himself. Jace will be able to come back. Probably has to teleport, but no, Gnar, the wave is too big. He does not want to give up that much health. Check out what the Gnar has bought. Double Doran's items to try to combat this Jace. He's saying, I'm going to invest 270 extra gold. Gone, right? Into the early game. I'm not going to be able to recuperate that from reselling my item, but I want to be able to survive and play this lane without any kind of reserve. But here we go. Look at that. Using the Q for the max range, queuing onto the back minion, and that didn't even look like it hit the Gnar, but it hit the Gnar by a pixel, and that was enough for Jace to be able to take that fight. So will Wukong try to hover on this top lane? You better believe that Xin Zhao is going to be here. So this is going to be a dynamic spot on the game now. We've got double Dorans versus Pickaxe and Dorans on the First Blood Jace. Talia getting an ult level 1, and oh my goodness, Wukong in trouble. This was a losing situation. You never want to get into a position where Xin Zhao is going to match you. So KT has a fairly extravagant lead here. Varus able to hold the freeze in the bot wave as well. Even after those recalls. So now we have a double control words from bot lane from Xayah Rakan. She's got the Moon Quiver, and she's going to be looking to farm up basically 100% of the CS from here on out. She basically had all of them. Very, very close. 19, 38, 50. Yeah, she may have even gotten all of them and a ward. Either that or she missed just 6. And the 6, the 6 being the 6 where you're walking back to lane. So I don't know. It does look like Xayah is in the zone. We saw that 355 at 31 minutes despite having 4 kills. Just out of this world last game. So Guma farming up well. Gragas doing okay, but a little bit behind in these trades against the Talia. Talia was able to roam and get that kill to solidify a huge lead for themselves. Cuz using Q3 with the dash to allow aiming to get the execute on his Q. He's going to hit level 6, and we have a winning position in all 3 lanes from KT Rolster. Faker the only one resembling an even lane, but is on his recall right now. So whatever he's bringing back to wave is what he's got. He opts for the extra mana and for the Lucid Boots. Owner, man, just don't even know if you ever even want this play. Right? Level 6, it's a good spot for Gnar. He's got his ultimate. He's going mega. Sure, you have a chance, but with Talia being able to get there, it's just a very risky spot. And then Xin Zhao just flexing at that stage right there. One of the best champions for Varus, again, as well, holding people in place long enough, using that ultimate to make sure that there's no retaliation damage. When we do get into the later stages, we talked about that all-in that Talia is going to help to force, and some of the tools that are there for disengage. Gnar ultimate, Wukong, Xayah, all well and good. If Gragas is trying to be the one to disengage and Xin Zhao gets that block up, then that could be backbreaking, especially if it's a keg toss or whatever the name is that splits the team half over the wall and half on the other side. Then we could have big problems if they're able to block that, and if that's the difference. But at the same time, Gnar ult could work into that wall. There's a lot of interesting synergies that are going to happen. Varus playing for that early lethality poke. Oof. Gnar getting hit from Max. No, that was Jace blast. They end up getting the Herald. Are they going to try to pick it up? They do, and they get the kill. Cuz is not dead. He's not dead. Is he really not going to die here? My goodness. He gets out alive, and Jace picks up 2 kills. Keen is going to rampage this game. 4-0. Gore Drinker Jace into this multiple melee setup that they have here. This has got to be scary. If you're T1, you got to bring your absolute A game here. From here on out. So let's check this out. Cuz fronting for the team, as Xin Zhao can do. We've got E-Flash into ultimate. They, you know what? Slightly too fast on the CC chain. Let's Xinjiao get out. And the retaliation Nautilus just in the middle of the fight. Let's check it out from Cuz's point of view. Look at Lehens. No, he misses the Q. It's not even that. How did he even get out? Yikes. T1's going to be kicking themselves for that. That is just execution based, bopping a little bit too quickly. Not only letting the Xin get out because he's not being chain CC'd, but also meaning that no one else on the team needs to worry about it because you wasted 4 cooldowns. Well, wasted. You used 4 cooldowns at the very start of that fight, including multiple ultimates, and it just wasn't enough. So KT, 2,000 gold lead, going to take this dragon uncontested. Wukong is going to have to find some confidence. That's one of the scary things that can happen in these games when things just don't go right. It's very easy for communications to start falling off. The team needs to get back together, come up with measurable, definable goals. Like, all right, let's see if we can get a turret down by 15 minutes, right? Like, let's try to get somewhere else on the map. We don't need to contest them. They're going to go for another dragon in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. So by 15:30, maybe there's a window where we can take top and mid turret. This is the sort of conversation that T1 needs to be going over, what kind of objectives they can even attempt in this spot, and how to chip away at this lead. Now, as we said, and even the mere idea of challenging that Herald to begin with, right? This is an early game team that is going to fall off of a cliff. If they don't get the full all in, like I'm leading this fight, Talio walls off your team and separates your team. If they don't get that fight late in the game with a lead, they can't win this game. So part of T1, like they don't really even need to be contesting anything like that. Rift Herald, congratulations, you got a Rift Herald, but you've got big problems now. And I'm starting to doubt whether or not they're even going to be able to drop this thing. Oh, great play by Faker, using the explosive cask to knock the Nautilus away. Oh, the flash hits! Knocking him away because Nautilus was using the using the ultimate to be able to ensure his Q that can't be juked against one of the best juking players in the entire history of the game. Uses the explosive cast to separate him. And here we go. Kyria split away from the team. Zeus is going to be by himself. Can he take this fight? No, not a chance. Rotate out, rotate, move, rotate, move. You got to play smoke and mirrors. If you're T1, you got to be duck, diving around, just trying to find jabs. Dance like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You're not looking for this big all-out fight right now. You just need to get back in the game. You got to land some punches. As it stands right now, everything is going KT's way. And if KT wins this, I don't know exactly what's on the line. So is it the finals? It must be the finals, right? Kyria looking for an engage. Can they get aiming over here? This is the sort of fight that they're looking for. It's got to be quick. It's got to be fast. Got to be the hero of the night. Here we go. T1 gets it. They get one pick. They might even get Lehens on the return here. Zaya ripping into him with the birds. Oh, the stopwatch. He's going to dump in for one more attack. Oh, but the shield gets the ultimate. Gragas going for a kill. Are you kidding me? Gragas, they are able to get 3 kills on the right side of the map, playing away from Jace, the strongest member on the team, aiming in the side lane for just a little bit too long, gets punished. They go under their inner turret. Under the inner turret, they were taken out. Wow. They do get one back on the Gragas, but he, however, is able to use his Rod of Ages to start stacking this extra health. It is fairly late, 14 minutes into the game. Here's that play with the Gragas again. No, so this is the semifinals, top bracket semifinals. It's between Gen G and T1 that had the top spots. They've gone away from their gauntlet that they had for 8 years. The Korean gauntlet, you had 5 teams in the playoff. 5 had to play 4, then 4 had to play 3. The winner had to play 3, the loser had to play 2, or the winner had to play 2. And you ended up where you have like the miracle run, ending first place in the split was just such a huge prize. But more traditional top half, bottom half bracket, double elimination coming from the LCK, which makes sense based on the fact that they're sending 2 representatives to MSI now. So you need to have a more concrete first and second place. Ooh, the hen's digging for owner there. Wukong, not the most hookable champion in the game. Even if you were going to get to him, he can always decoy. You don't really know that you've got the clone potentially until it's too late. 4K is the difference. There's no way that T1 should be contesting this dragon. They should give it for free. KT realizes this and ends up pushing the Herald into mid. Now, are you nervous if you're KT? You have a chance at taking out the number 1 seed who had one of the most dominating performances ever this split. Looking even better than they did last year, which is hard to replicate. But if you're T1, right, do not contest. Counter. They go left, you go right. Constantly try to get some gold back into this game. You have a chance to outscale. You just need to let it happen. And right now is not the moment to come back into this case. Into the game. Jace is way too big. Do they make a play on the top lane? I think this is Smoke and Mirrors working well. Check this out. Gragas able to get a chunk onto the top turret. Wukong able to get Krugs. You bring 3 champions to your half of the map and don't pay anything to do it. This is exactly what T1 needs. And if this kind of play can continue, then expect T1 to be able to outscale. 4K, not going to be enough. Once we get to 3 items, that's going to be this breakpoint for this game. If specifically Xayah, is getting to 3 items in this game, then from there on out, it's going to be good times for T1. Nice play by Lehens. Just like, subterranean divide or whatever it's called. That's enough. I'll fade away. I'll just start killing this control ward. Don't need me anymore. Perfect setup for Varus with the execute. Now, something we have started to see with some of the Nautilus buffs coming back in, Abyssal Mask Nautilus in the top lane. Will it make a resurgence? Will it compete with some of these other tanks up there? It's not as big as a Sion or a Cho'Gath, but it has a lot of hold, right? Having a root on your auto attack is something that none of those champions offer. So, I don't mind it. I like Nautilus as a top laner much more than as a support. I would be fascinated to see him emerge, and especially in some of these matchups like a Jace, where you can just rush into defensive items, get your plate mail, Sunfire. You can go Abyssal Mask, which synergizes with the Sunfire, and then the Jack Show, which synergizes with the Abyssal Mask, right? So, and also just being in combat with the Sunfire Cape, very easy to get those extra procs. It's a very simple core to build. You might also see something like Iceborne Gauntlet just holding people in place. But that's neither here or there. Not yet, at least. As we have defensive itemization for the moment from Nautilus. We'll see which one he goes. Usually it's Even Shroud, but we could see a Locket. They step up and flex, and I like this. T1 backing off, saying, we're going to force you to bring numbers here. We're going to force you to commit and sweat a little bit. Get that heart rate going for these people that haven't been in the finals for a bit. See if it gets them a little bit more nervous. Every single one of these tense situations is a chance for fumbling to increase, right? This is a tense spot. Make no mistake about it. You're in Game 5 against the best team in your region, maybe the best team in the history of League of Legends, and you're beating them. You have a chance to knock them out of the playoffs, or at least knock them into the bottom bracket. You have a chance to win this matchup that nobody has you winning. Don't want to fumble this, right? If you start thinking about the result at any moment and start getting a little bit nervous, the pressure starts mounting up, that heart rate starts climbing faster and faster and faster, that's when people are capable of making mistakes. Which is going to happen inevitably by the shape. Oh, he gets him in response to the draft, in response to the jump. My goodness, what a play by Lehens, flashing and queuing backwards to interrupt Nar mid-jump. And of course, once he's in that jump, he's in that animation. Very hard to get out. Beautifully played by him, and then closed the door by Jace. But like we were saying, every single one of those moments, if someone's getting tense and they're getting nervous, that's when the mistakes are possible. And if you're the more experienced team, you want to deal out difficult situations whenever possible. Make them start sweating. See if they get nervous. That's what's going to happen with this draft. Right? You're playing for scaling. You've got this big Wombo team fight. You want them to play for the Talia. Let's go to Baron. See what happens. See how they react. If the wrong people show up at the wrong time, you might just get the Wombo that you want. And if they don't show up, great, you get Baron. And if they do show up, what if they make a mistake? Very high tense situation. They're calling, hey, this is what we want. This is what we come. The Talia ult is shorted. Now Talia's alone with the Baron. She takes the aggro. Nar can actually leave them alone. Gets into the middle of the fight. Gets a big jump off. Is there going to be continuation? No, not enough AoE damage. Xayah ripping into people on the left side of the fight, but can she consolidate? Gragas has a hold of Varus, and they get what they want. The big Wombo team fight goes in their favor. They pull KT to them, and KT fumbles. That, I have to say that the ultimate from Talia was wanting. You needed a little bit better of an angle there, because she ends up jumping off into the Baron pit and taking all the damage. In fact, tanking it for them. Big mistake. Big. And yet, 4,000 gold will still be the lead. They'll have one extra dragon. You're going to see this play from Lehens. I mean, check out this flash. Boom. Ultimate. Not even worrying about, don't let this guy get away. Zero chance. So check this out, right? You've got this control ward in the very back of the pit. Cuz getting a good spot. You've been winning these smite fights. Ults them over the wall, isolating just Wukong, and then your team's able to blow up the fight. Gragas ultimate. In fact, if Gragas hadn't ulted and Zeus was able to get everyone into the wall, that might have been even worse, because up against thick walls like that one in front of Blue, between Blue and Baron, you can put them on that wall, then Gragas can ult them, stick them to the wall. Rakan can corral them and keep them on the wall. You can literally you can juggle the champions there. Literally all 5 of them in that one spot. If that ult just moves over just slightly, if Nar's able to get them to that wall first. So what is the continuation going to be? Owner dodges the hook as we expected from before. They've got some gold back in their pockets, still down 3,500. But you're going to see as these items finish out, on especially the Xayah, every completed item on Xayah is worth more than the completed items on Varus. Varus is going to be upfront damage, just looking for that first poke to lead off the fight, get his team ahead so that Xin and Jace can do what they need to do. But every time that it gets even another minute into the game, you are that much more likely. Every level you get, that much more likely to survive that all-in upfront burst and to be able to turn this fight and use your AoE combo the way it's designed to be used. So if you're KT, how do you go about this? Well, dragon stacking is going to be a big problem now, because even if you get soul, it's not going to be until 33 minutes into the game. Even at that point, Elder is going to be at 38, so the dragon soul is not going to be enough to win yourself the game here. And you don't have traditional split pushers. You do have Talia that can go side to side and Xinjiao that can try to pick, but you are going to get outscaled all over the map. You have to force these fights. You have to come on over. Talia really needs to work her way back over this, and they need to fight for this Western Quadrant. You need to make decisive maneuvers immediately. So here they go. They begin with it. Moving into the river. They're going to step forward and try to get extra play. Gragas getting the cask off and the Zonias in response. Owner's clone gets taken, but the Wombo favors them. They get just enough separation. I can't believe Faker was able to get that Cask and Zonias off right before those big continuation items. Check out Nautilus getting the pull, throwing him, raking him over the coals, quite literally. Guma able to get the fight. Zeus finds the stun and throws him back into the team. And this is it. How do you come back from this if you're KT? When you go up from that thump, high pressure, high adrenaline situation and lose, the come down can be a crash. So if you're KT, take a deep breath. Realize that you're upset. Realize that you're stressed. It's okay. You got to just make the next right move. Beautiful Cask there by Gragas to stay alive. Look at how much damage is fronted and missed. And they're able to get the Jace done. Taliyah just not doing enough in those windows. Varus not doing enough because Gragas, body tanked some of it and dodged some of it. Just Faker, carried that fight by surviving. Beautifully done here by Zeus. Just expertly knowing his ranges. You only do that, boys and girls, by going into practice tool. And that's right, the fans are happy. So bring yourself back to square one. Get back to your baseline. Start amping yourself up for the next fight. Bring your best to the next fight. You can't worry about the things that happened, but how are you going to get it to work your favor this time? Taliyah just needs a slightly better angle, right? We got to find the spot. And BDD, one of the best Zoe players in the world, knows all of his angles in the game, for sure. He's more than capable of getting these Taliyah ults to do exactly what he wants them to. Is he actually going to find that window, though? Hey, what's up, Ocean Star? Oh, TF Blade, what's up? TF Blade in chat. No way. That's funny. Shout out. Phase Rush Taliyah. Yeah, Phase Rush. Could it be a Phase Rush diff? It doesn't seem like it aligns with the rest of the team. We didn't actually talk about it yet. Could absolutely be part of the difference, part of the symptom here, where your team is unmistakably the all-in team in this position. You're not necessarily looking to jump around a fight. We have fights on two different sides now. Nautilus peeling on the bot side while his team is moving up. So we're in two different directions. Owner being isolated. Lehen says, I've got Owner, but the rest of the team is like, no, we want to fight for Dragon. They end up moving Wukong out of the pit. Faker is just holding on to this spot. He's like, I'm holding the aggro. I'm just going to keep it right here. I can always dash over this wall. Wukong gets multi-man knockup. Nar jumps over the wall. He's about to go mini, but that's it. And Xin Zhao gets it. But Rakan gets the full knockups. He's going to get the combo. Are they going to be able to clean up this fight with all of that AoE? BDD is left retreating from the fight. As we said, maybe it's a difference in the runes not having enough damage in that position. Also going with Seraph's second, a very sort of slow damage itemization set from Taliyah. Not able to get that wall again. And sure, they give the dragon, but they probably win the game in exchange. Because look at all the standing gold that is going to drop in their favor. We have an inner going down. Tons of gold on those inner turrets. Inner in mid lane going to go down thanks to the power of this cannon. They're going to keep on going for this. No reason not to keep going. He backed off a bit. You actually would have saved yourself a little bit more health just by hitting it faster. And bot lane, they're also crashing that in. So the strength of that Baron... They've got the stats. Check it out in slow motion here. Nar is desperately looking for something. If KT can just hold out for an extra 5 seconds, then Nar would go mini Nar. But Rakan finds the engage right here. Owner chasing BDD all over. Look at how split up everybody is. That looks like a solo queue fight. Here's the angle from the point of view of the Rakan. He's ulting 3 people, dashing around, making sure not to get caught up in the melee that happens shortly after, and taking a hold of even the Xin Zhao. So, Keria on Rakan, holding down 4 different champions, feeling himself a little bit right there. Good stuff. Tapping his toes. You better think, we talked about KT being nervous, you better think that T1 is as well. right? You know, the expectation is for them to win. If they're on the brink, and we said they got to bring their A game from here on out, and they sure have. But you better believe that they're getting a little bit nervous too, because you can imagine what happens from the pundits and the fan base. The sky will be falling if you lose to KT. Not saying this is a bad team, right? All of these guys are accomplished. You got some old Freak of Freaks players, some old Rocks players. We've got BDD, right? All of these guys have been champions. Cuz has been teammates with Faker before. You know, they've got all the experience that they need here. Lots of veterans on this team. They've been here. Look how Owner's just, yeah, he wants that control ward, but, you know, it's just not worth those extra hits. And he's right. If he went for those hits, there was a Nautilus waiting in that bush, waiting to hook him. Now that his decoy is gone, he gives it up. We haven't engaged, no way. That would be so deep to go into that ward. He ends up using Shirelias just to muscle their way into this position, which I do like. There's a ton of value to that. You threaten the enemy team. They consolidate their position. It allows you to move through a position that you otherwise could not have and get wards that you otherwise might not have gotten. So, make no mistake about it, they will wait for some of their cooldowns to come up, like that Shirelias. It's a fairly short cooldown. Baron is up in 23 seconds. The only wards in the northern quadrant, despite ignoring one super shallow one for KT. You have 2 wards covering some of the flanks, covering the camps from T1. You're going to see Xayah pick up the red buff and start moving her way over. Jace is in bot lane, but he's got the teleport. Now, Jace needs to go and make sure that he creates a slow push. This lane is super long. You want that lane fighting for you. I see that he's left it on his half of the map, but if his minions have any amount of disadvantage, then it's not good enough. And specifically, you see a 1 level, 2 level, 2 level, 1 level difference. The minions on the side of T1 are stronger, right? Every level that you have over your enemy team is 5% difference in the strength of the minions. They just get an extra little buff to deal that much extra damage to keep it pushing. And so you can see, let's take a look at this bot wave as they have this standoff. Look at how it interacts. Despite having the reinforcement on their half of the map, blue wave has reinforced as well, and they may even take the push out. Now, yeah, look at that blue wave. Not only surviving, but thriving. Straight up winning. Look how much difference that makes. I know it's not the most exciting thing to look at the mini-map, but, I mean, see how that behaves, how you get a little bit of a slow push, and that's what we're talking about with Jace. He had a moment. He's got teleport. Go up and actually clear the casters of the next minion wave. Otherwise, your push will not continue, right? Despite leaving it, you don't have enough health on your minions. Despite it being on your half of the map, it's not like your next wave has even spawned yet. So take your time, take an extra 20 seconds, kill the backline. You can even sit there and chunk down the cannon as well. Leave the melees so that it drags the team, the minion wave for a little bit. Takes it a little bit longer to reinforce. And once you have an 11 versus 7 minion wave, then you can rest assured that you're going to get that push. But check it out, this monstrous wave just gathering in the bot side. T1 opting to say, you know what, we'll let someone on the enemy team deal with it. We'll go up and take position of this northern quadrant, make sure that we're first to mid wave as well. Getting every CS at every point of the game. We said Gumo was going to be on form with last hitting 348 at 33 minutes. Again, they're looking for the shove. Can they catch Lehens? The ultimate is up. There's not going to be any amount of retaliation here. They just ate. They ate all of Varus' damage. Jace has got nothing to return. They're just happy. Look how strong they are. Look how healthy they are. And the only person who's missing any health is the one with Guardian Angel. So they're going to play for the fight here. They want this all in. They want the fight around the pit. Now they do get Rakan coming out of the base with the rock field. This is what they want. Isolated fight. You want it to be skirmish style, not just full 5 people bonking, headbutting against each other. And KT is able to trade 2 for 1. Nautilus is going to come back onto the map. He will have his ultimate as he respawns. or as he arrives back in the wave. But yeah, Rakan getting tripped up a little bit, probably on the Talia rocks. Didn't actually see it, raking himself off the coals. Talia's going in. They're trying to find it, but Guma just rips apart the Varus. Faker able to take this to himself, and the play that they thought they could make instead yields them 2 corpses on their own team. Guma just flexing on the Varus, getting that upfront damage. 4 items versus 4 items. We said it would flip at 3 by 4. It is done and dusted. Super strong on Guma uses Zaya. He's going to push up the mid wave. He's going to escort this wave in. Nar's going to make sure to not let Keen get any big shots. And this is the problem with Jace, right? When it happens, these Jace games, no matter how big you get, especially when you go Gore Drinker, I know that they love the all-in. They love the effects that this item can have for that ability to jump into the fight and still survive. But it just doesn't deal that upfront damage the way that getting something like Prowler's Claw would do. Anyways, T1 taking the inhibitor. They've got Big Wave stacking in top, Big Wave stacking in bot. They've got the Baron. There's very few ways for KT to survive this fight now. You're going to see them on a side wave. Very difficult to do because T1 should be good about checking one person off. So let's see if it's these rocks right here. Yeah. Wukong jumping over, trying to get a flash. Zeus also getting... It looks like he got stunned trying to do a double jump, maybe? I don't know. But they isolate that fight. This is where it starts off. It's good for them. Zeus saved by his extra health by going mega. And here's the play where BDD's ultimates have just seemed a little bit too much. Goes all the way for Faker and not for Guma. That has to be a mistake. And maybe it was because of the teleport. Maybe he meant to ride it all the way. But, you know, you had to make a play with your team. You have to cut people off. And that ult did not accomplish either of those things. T1 actually opting from this point not to do Baron. No, this is more replay. Okay. So here we go. Nar's going to push in mid-wave as 4 people come out here. They've got a control ward between them and the bottom corner. Talia is not going to be able to get a great angle off from this point on. Varus does chunk out the Renekton. Oh my goodness. They get 2 free kills and they've just blanked the Baron. Luckily for T1, this Baron will be up for just long enough. They're going to get their respawns, and they'll be able to get back on the map and make one more push while also contesting for this dragon and also having the protection of the supers in mid-wave. But undeniably a mistake there to get caught out in that position. They did not need to force it. They want to play for that big wombo fight. Talia, you could see where Talia was positioning just inside the gate, trying to find what's going to become the best angle possible for herself. She actually wants to step off a bit so that she can jump off without being pinned to the fight. So let's take a peek again. There's the battle song. Trying to move in, trying to dash, but instead gets just, again, rakes himself over the coals. Where's the rest of this fight? KT moving over. They get the dragon for themselves. Oh, my goodness. Imagine if he just stiffed that wall for his own teammate. He'd be able to pop it down, but, like, that was a narrow corridor. Let's see if T1 decides to use the window. The fact that Talia has no wall means that they can siege this. They still have Baron for another 24 seconds, which is enough for this wave and the next one to get in. How much damage can they go with these cannons? Talia is going to use the knockback to pull the cannon into range and then use the Qs to rip it apart. Here's the last bit of damage. 10 seconds left on the Baron. Is this the fight that they can get? They need this turret to go down. It is down. They're moving up. Gnar frontlining for the team. You see that? What used to be the meatball standing there. Gnar loves to knock people into that thing or into the wall by these Riot Games banners. I'm glad that they're not selling that spot anymore. And here we go. T1. 5 minutes till Elder. We've got the Soul to contend with. No more Baron. 2 supers are down. 2 inhibs are down. But the mid-wave inhib is going to respawn soon. Less than a minute on that one. But the game becomes decidedly easier now. Gnar can go into mid wave. 4 champions can go into top. You have supers pushing in bot. Gnar will always be able to keep that very nice flank position. Sometimes you might even want Wukong to do that, although it's generally you send Gnar for long enough to get his rage bar up, right? You need him to get angry before he jumps into these fights. The team moving up. Oh my goodness. Is this the bait? If he goes mega and survives here, he's going to be good. He's coming out of Guardian Angel and he's going to get his ultimate. He flashes over with a sliver of HP that he got from going mega. They end up not getting punished. Oh my goodness. Zeus again tiptoeing that line. Make no mistake about it. He's going to be teleporting in on this situation, keeping these minions alive. Keeping that cannon alive. They get this turret. Will they flex for more? And will the minions push in from mid enough to re-break the inhibitor? There's the inhibitor respawn. Owner's already moving in to bring those minions in, saying, hey, the pressure's coming right now. A little bit worse for his team. You'd actually like that to wait until this next wave is coming in from top. This allows the KT defense to actually mitigate that front pushing wave and get some free chip damage out. So they turn their action to the top side. They're going to move over. Faker getting in between. He splits up the fight. There's not going to be a good angle for a Taliyah wall. Can they use enough of this pressure to get this inhibitor down? They do, and there's a super going there. And Wukong is able to kill Xin Zhao. Mega Gnar going crazy. We've got Rakan trying to get it, but Keen flashes out. Zeus gets a little bit of a whiff, just shorts it, but the rest of the fight is going in. They're continuing the fight. Look at all this AoE damage. Everyone's popping, but the winners here are going to be T1. Ooh, the extra life. Remember that stasis 4. It's an extra second. But aiming is going to get this kill. They end up with supers in the base on 2 different lanes. Aiming, last one standing. And this inhibitor, oh my gosh, look how chunked it is. You got to get to work here. Aiming with no mana. He's got no mana left to clear that either. He's got to do it all with auto attacks. So it is going to be chunked. We're going to have about 2.5 minutes left on that bottom inhibitor, 4 minutes after respawns on the top inhibitor, and that middle one is going to be recharging to about half health. T1 definitely in the driver's seat, but look how chaotic these fights are. You could spend a day just analyzing one fight like that. Like even Keria right here, if Keria saves that W, they actually just turn that fight, right? You have a respawning champion. You'd have a 3 versus 2. If he's got the knock up to answer them trying to dogpile on the Guardian Angel, they'd be in good spot. But anyways, KT wasting no time to get this Baron in their hands. Look at the dodging, but they do get the kill onto Xin Zhao. That's not enough of a wall, Taliyah. That wall doesn't really do anything. And now you have to deal with what's in the base. Supers are marching down. Look for every 1/3 interval on those turrets. Every third matters, right? It's going to stop regenning once it's at a third for the base structures. They step up and they're able to just walk straight into that inhibitor with the extra numbers. They're going to play defense as best as they can with the Baron buff. 25 seconds to try to keep these cannons alive. But these supers are going to start piling up on them. T1 almost undoubtedly going to wait, let the supers do the work, the heavy lifting in base while they set up for the Elder Dragon, and then they will crash in. The bot inhibitor will respawn. You can see that there's no more supers coming from the bot wave, which is actually kind of surprising. That's too early because that wave spawned before the inhibitor's coming up. Yeah, that is too early. They must have spawned like right when they got under that minute mark. So now T1 didn't get that much lingering vision. You see one in the base, something to teleport to, perhaps for the Gnar. Supers coming in on multiple waves. They never actually got the double stacked super waves. You got one extra super in top wave. Mid wave is going to stack up, but you better believe that KT is going to fight for that mid wave and try to push out there. They've got about 45 seconds before that top lane super starts crashing into their base. After 45 minutes, those supers are going to be a game-ending threat, especially since that third one is going to be stacking and coming in. If you're KT Rolster, you have to make a play right now. They're looking for it. Nautilus using his Q to get into range so that he can get the subterranean divide up. They trade kills 2 for 1. They get 2 kills. What a banger. But look at the supers charging in top wave. Here we go. We're talking about 45 minutes. They have to make something happen by then. Talia is backing. Look at this triple stack super wave up here. Now if you're T1, you're actually stronger. You can move up 3 full health players. You can play for this, including your strongest player, Gumayusi. They're going to choose not to go. Talia, one of the best champions in the game at eradicating multiple supers. Pops back in time to go get it. Now, KT, I don't know about restarting the Baron here, guys. Sorry, the Dragon, Elder Dragon. Boom! Big flash. Varus gets popped. Faker just proving it again. Look at this popping fight. Gumayusi's down. Big carries on both sides. He ends up coming back, respawning with the bop. Oh my goodness, this is going to dance on the edge of this. You do have supers crashing into base. If Gnar can just stop backs between Gnar and Rakan, if they stop backs, Xin Zhao actually will have trouble with 3 supers. 3 supers in his face. There's no way Gnar steals this, right? There's no way. Okay, Xin Zhao going off to face off. He takes down the 1, goes after the 2. The top inhib respawns. Are you kidding me? This game is still there. Look at this play by the Hens. That is so fantastic. To jump over the wall, to Q to another wall, to get yourself into range. Every bit of that is perfect. Well played there. And big drawback damage from Xayah. Let's see what Faker ends up doing to get this big E-flash. Does he come over? Oh, he did it from in there because of the control ward. He jumped over this narrow part of the wall. E-flash to get onto the team, basically from fog. 0 chance to react. Blows up aiming, but Guma getting popped in return. Oh, what a fight. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Yeah, there's the fight and then the... Oh. They're wearing their emotions on their sleeves. That's what kind of game this is. 26-26. 88,000 each. The exposed base being the difference in this game, plus the Wombo scaling comp from T1. But you have Elder for another minute and 10 seconds from KT. Can they make this play happen? Talia is pretty far removed from the team, and they know it. Gnar has created a massive, you know what, that's a game-ending push, potentially stacking on this side of the map. They still have the supers to contend with. They're trying to just kill the wave without interacting with the champions here, because these guys, they want that skirmish. Man, look at how much damage that Elder does. Whew. Insane. Now Talia ulting from way downtown to separate. This is going to secure the turret, but the turret is not all that they need. They definitely need this inhibitor as well so that they can combat the supers in mid-wave. Now, they're the only ones with supers here. Gnar making a leap of faith there, Indiana Jones style, just jumping over that chasm, making it. And oh my goodness, this is going to come down. Look at that wave just building up in the bot side. Do you feel it's like the drums just coming. Boom, 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 boom. All right, like the drums of war, it's coming down there. Someone on their team is pinging. No, that's T1 pinging. They know that it's there. They might go and try to force Baron with the existence of this wave. They have 2 teleports if they need them, but look for them to push up mid, use pressure mid to get into the Baron pit, and then if a fight breaks out, 2 champions to teleport to this wave and go end the game. That is the threat. KT is looking to step back. They have to consolidate. They have to clear that wave. And really, kind of unfortunate for them. Well, everyone's level 18, so that is just the power of the slow push stacking up there. And because they back, they're going to lose this Baron. Xin Zhao actually flashed in. Are you kidding me? Now he doesn't have a way out. Cuz, no, you can't do that. Cuz there's a blast cone right there. This game did not hinge on you stealing the Baron. Now you're dead. Your GA is dead and your team has exposed base. Oh my goodness. It wouldn't have been game over. You have 3 structures and you have 3 minutes on the inhibitors. More than 3 minutes. That is a tremendous blunder from Cuz. Oh my goodness. They should lose the game now. 45 seconds on Xinjiao means that they're going to be able to move up. They've got double teleports. They're going to be able to flex up with a numbers advantage. Look at this play by Talia. Looking to stall for seconds. All it takes is seconds. You move the minions back. You're saying we just need Xinjiao to respawn. Honestly, I would have rathered to split the wave. You try to split the champions from the wave, and then you can separate the team and try to clear those minions without the champions being there. Instead, we get this one inhibitor down. We'll see if they go for another immediately. It looks like they're going to just back out. They're going to consolidate, finish their builds. Everyone's going to be on final items, and they're going to push up through top lane. Expect Gragas or Gnar to go handle bot, probably just Gragas. And they're going to start pushing up this top lane. Now, this difference, 2-minute difference in the mid waves. Look at these super waves just clashing in the middle of the map. Super is obviously nothing compared to the full item champions, but if left alone, these super waves can do absolute game-ending damage to the base. Now, something I don't like from there, Xinjiao, you're not benefiting. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Xinjiao's not full build. He's on 3 items. Okay, so Xinjiao trying to get the CS. The other 3 carries on his team are all full items. Check out the Nautilus who bought the Wardstone second. Something that we talk about a lot. That item gives a lot of stats for how good it is, and it is a phenomenal item. In a lot of these games, you're just going to be in a position to buy wards. So keep an eye on that with Hens having that. Now, we also have it from Rakan, but Rakan was able to also get redemption. So he's always going to be a little bit stronger. When you look at this team, even though the gold is 96,000 apiece, you have extra gold. You have rebuys. You have sold boots for Lord Dominic's and Rapid Fire from Gumayusi on Xayah, right? Same thing. You have 6 items on the Varus. Those carries have extra money that's not actually part of the inventory, whereas Rakan has a straight up extra item relative to the Nautilus. And I do believe that Owner's also full build. Compared to missing 1.5 items from Xinjiao. So, standoff in the mid lane, fighting for priority. We do have a super versus no supers in top lane. That wave up top is going to be dangerous in favor of KT. The super is winning that wave. You're going to see respawns from their own wave. That's going to start creating an absolutely massive wave for themselves, uncontested in this position. But you see that mid lane is the last one. Oh my gosh, the engage. Jace just pops the Gragas with the backup. They get this. Oh my goodness, this is KT's game to win now. They get the fight. Rakan with the full peel knocks up 4, gets back to his team. They survive with just Gragas being the casualty. Now, if it comes down to it, the supers coming in mid are going to be faster than the large wave pushing in top. All right, that is the last super that is alive in top wave as well. So expect that wave is going to get annihilated, but the double stacking supers in mid wave could be faster. Now, Talia does take care of the first one, the lead one, the one that could actually win the game for them. So if nothing happens here, KT will win the game. All right, that super is going to be crashing in the base as Gragas is getting there. It will re-break the inhibitor in top side, and it will continue to push in, forcing Gragas to stay long enough to not just seed the base. So, but how much space are they going to have to seed in this 5v4? Because so far they've been giving up a lot of extra spots. Jace ends up going for the QE combo on the decoy. Varus misses his ultimate. Those are some key cooldowns down on the part of KD. Rakan's looking in. Look at this engage. The second grand entrance of this exchange. They get the pop. They get 1. They get 2. Gragas is porting in. They're going to get 3. This is going to be the ball game. Xinjiao coming back into the base trying to deal with these double supers. But look at the supers. They've just rebroken the wave in top as well. Gragas popping them up. No way. He's out. He's porting to this lane. Are we getting a base rate? Keen is going in. Gnar dodges it. Oh my goodness. He gets the knockback, but he has to jump back because of the size of this turret. Rakan misses the knock-up, but look at this wave. Keen has bought himself a little bit of his time, but it's going to cost his team the game in the bot wave. They only have Xinjiao standing. You better believe that this Guardian Angel is going to be popped on time. They get him dead. Xin Zhao busting his ultimate on the wave. He needs that cannon to die. He gets it dead, but the next wave is still alive. Guma still there. The re-engage dies to the feathers. The Blade Caller is going to take him out right now by some set base, and he draws it back in the perfect time. Guma UC, expert play, Faker. Look at these guys together, taking down the base. What a banger of a game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep it surreal. Peace.